comprehended what was the point of the quote unquote sovereign citizen movement. I never comprehended what was the point of quote unquote Moorish sovereign movement, uh, because how they proceed on both counts was if they were looking to maintain the hegemony of the colonizing hostiles, whether it be by direct or just maintaining their system. And those that wear fez I always thought would know better have never demonstrated that they did. Like, since when did the Moors ever have a quote unquote president or a quote unquote prime minister? The Moors have had sultans. The Moors have had emperors. Presidents? No. Prime ministers? Definitely no. So I never comprehended where they were coming from. It's always made less than 0 cents to me. And so now, as the era has come in, what did we see? We saw uh, parties run their agenda. They had their little scam that led to a little health thing that led to them bringing multiple lockdowns. And what did the quote unquote sovereign citizen folks have to counter that besides absolutely nothing? What exactly did the various quote unquote Moorish entities provide as a viable alternative to the crazy? What did they deploy or have optional to deploy to counter quote unquote lockdowns? A lot of folks, they got exposed for what's really going on with them. So you've had institutions that's been around for a long time, some for decades. You have institutions that have been around, and then you have the quote unquote newish Moorish or whatever nation of the month, with a bunch of folks, a variety of folks who would demonstrate that they couldn't uh, govern themselves out of a wet paper bag. And the ignorant innocents who don't know what questions to ask them hang on their every word. And then again, it's world famous. Well, what we're doing is about nation building. No, it's not. No. If it was about nation building, you would have organic diplomacy and governance abilities that would render whatever the colonizing hostiles are doing immaterial and irrelevant. And not one of them can demonstrate that. Not one. So what does that make them? That makes them aboriginals unto the landmass who are not free inhabitants upon said landmass. The ignorant innocents have no idea. And those that they look to for leadership demonstrate they have no clue. And it's painful to watch. There's nothing we can do about that. Grown folks making grown decisions. And they got to deal with the consequences of those particular decisions. What we do know for certain is this. There's a series of questions that folks have to be able to answer. If you're saying that you are an independent sovereign nation and that you have independent organic diplomacy and governance, opening questions that's going to come out of my mouth is, show me, if you're able to, what is your fiscal responsibility operation? Where are your fraud countermeasures and instant accountability operations? If you are an independent sovereign nation, what is your system of governance? What is your law form? Demonstrate that you're solvent. If you're not coining and minting your own money on your own equipment, there's an issue. If your treasury is devoid of silver or gold, then you have no ability to convey title in either direction in whatever you're engaging in your organic diplomacy and governance. You're civilly dead. And generally as a rule because they're mentally dead. They may mean well, and they can put on the garb, and they can speak the words, and sound important. If they cannot demonstrate what I've mentioned thus far, they're already in trouble. You say you're an independent sovereign nation? What department do I report to establish a business inside of your jurisdiction and venue? Where are the forms? What do I report? What department do I report to secure copyright, trademark, or patent inside of your jurisdiction and venue? And where are the forms? They cannot demonstrate either or both. They are lying. And the ignorant innocents don't know that. And then they get burned. Then they get bitter and disenchanted because they got hurt by the ignorance. Well, I'm the sovereign citizen paperwork guy. I'm the UCC paperwork guy. All right, even if that stuff did work for you in the foreign jurisdiction, you're still using it inside the foreign jurisdiction. Not to mention the fact, what exactly did you do after you got your certificate trust and strawman and birth certificate all sorted out? That you don't even control, it doesn't belong to you anyway. None of it does. Never did. And it's not possible to. Oh, I got my land a allodial title. A allodial title, you say? Oh. Do you now? And you have the standing to engage it? We know you don't. Therefore, it's not allodial. And, worse still, how many easements are on it? If you didn't address the easements, then that land is about as sovereign as a paint can. They mean well maybe, but don't know what they're talking about. And it shows. Land is one thing. And there's a method for that. Easements, that's another issue entirely. And the improvements upon said land is a different action further still. And 99.999999% of them, I won't say 100, even though I know what it is, 99.99999% have no idea what I'm talking about. And the ignorant innocents don't even begin to know what questions to ask. So you can shovel to them whatever you want. They'll take it and swallow it whole and run face first into a brick wall. This is what happens over and over and over again. And we've watched it happen for decades. It's like we told y'all. You don't hear a word we say. They just see an opportunity to get trinkets and toys. Using 1099A to get trinkets and toys. A smarter way, a more effective way, you put it in their face, they're going to argue with you, or ignore you, or run the other way. That lets you know all you need to know about where they're really and truly at in their thinking. Loaded with Western socially engineered foolishness that they perpetuate because they insist on traversing and engaging in the colonizing hostiles nonsense instead of having independent of the colonizing hostiles nonsense. Independent industries, commerce, and trade predicated upon your own independent monetary policy inside your own global common market. Dispute resolution for quantum Merowith relevant unto all contract performance? They're not even prepared to have that conversation. Don't even know where to begin to have that conversation. The sad commentary on the mindset of our kith and kindred. And the incoming era of the digital ID tied back to the colonizing hostiles and their plans. They had no plan to deal with the lockdowns. They have less than zero plan that's competent to deal with the incoming digital handcuffs and digital chains and surveillance tied back to the digital ID and the digital currency. You shall behave the way they require, or they will deny you access. You will not be able to buy or sell in the modern global Babylon system. Who cares? You don't need their system. We built one for you. We tell folks this, and their eyes glaze over. They look at our fiscal budget laws and have no idea what they're looking at. And when you explain to folks, you don't even need their internet. We literally can build our own if you fund it. That's possible? They think the colonizing hostiles are the only ones that can innovate. That's how far gone they have been programmed into being.